Have you ever wondered why a specific person always pops into your mind when the world falls silent? Why do your thoughts circle around them at midnight, when the world is asleep but your heart is wide awake? It's not random. It's not just a coincidence. There are powerful psychological and emotional reasons why this person invades your peace at night. In this video, we'll explore 12 deep psychological signs that reveal why one person keeps coming to your mind, especially in the dead of night. These signs are not just about love. They're about trauma, healing, memory imprints, unresolved emotions, and invisible emotional cords. So stay with me until the end, because by the end of this journey, you might discover not just the reason behind your thoughts, but the secret to finally healing them. Let's begin. Sign 1. Your mind is seeking closure. The human brain hates unfinished stories. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember incomplete tasks more than completed ones. If you had an unfinished relationship, an unresolved conflict, or an abrupt goodbye with this person, your mind will keep replaying it, especially when you're alone and unguarded. At midnight, your distractions disappear. Your conscious mind goes quiet. And that's when the unconscious starts whispering. You start thinking, what did I do wrong? Why didn't I say more? What if they come back? Your brain loops these thoughts because it wants to complete the story. It craves closure, but closure never came. So every night becomes an open loop, and that person becomes the headline of your midnight thoughts. Sign 2. Emotional imprint of first love or deep attachment. Psychologically, first love or deep emotional attachments leave a permanent mark on our emotional memory. When we experience deep emotions, especially romantic love, our dopamine and oxytocin levels spike. The brain registers this as intense pleasure and connection. That's why people say, you never forget your first love. It's not poetic, it's neurological. So if this person was someone you were emotionally or romantically attached to, your brain has categorized them under safety, passion, or pain. And since nighttime is when emotions amplify, your mind naturally revisits these imprints. You don't miss the person. You miss the version of yourself you were with them. That's the trick of psychology. The person becomes a symbol of freedom, of hope, of desire, of the time when you felt most alive. Sign 3. Trauma bond or toxic cycle. This might hurt, but it's real. If your connection with this person was toxic, abusive, or addictive, you might be stuck in a trauma bond. Trauma bonds are formed when pain and love mix, when one person gives you both comfort and chaos, and unfortunately, the brain becomes addicted to the emotional roller coaster. It starts craving the emotional high that came after the low. So even if the relationship was harmful, your mind romanticizes it at night. You don't remember the tears, you remember the thrill, the comfort, the intense highs that followed every fight. Midnight brings back not the truth, but the illusion, because the illusion was addictive. Sign 4. You are not fully present in the day. If you're spending your daytime in distraction, scrolling, working, avoiding, your brain doesn't get the space to process emotional data. So what happens? The unprocessed emotions pile up like unread messages. And at midnight, when your guard drops, those emotions flood in. That person becomes the face of all your hidden feelings. Sometimes it's not even about them. It's about you avoiding yourself during the day. And when you finally sit still at night, your mind pulls the file it was avoiding all day, and that file often contains them. Sign 5. You're energetically connected. Psychology recognizes something called limbic resonance, the ability of two people to emotionally sync on a subconscious level. If you were deeply connected with someone, your nervous systems may have once synchronized. You laughed together, cried together, breathed together. Even if you're not in touch now, your mind remembers their rhythm. So when the world goes quiet and your breath slows down at night, you subconsciously return to the last rhythm your heart matched. It's not magic, it's memory. The emotional memory of someone whose energy became your comfort zone. Sign 6. Unconscious desire for redemption. Sometimes thinking of a person at night is not about them at all. It's about you wanting to become someone better because of them. Maybe you hurt them. Maybe you failed them. Maybe they inspired you. And now your mind revisits them as a symbol of redemption, a reminder of the version of you that could have been. Midnight becomes your courtroom, where you try to defend, explain, or forgive yourself. But the judge is always memory, and memory never lies. Sign 7, dreams, fantasy, and mental escapism. When real life feels dull, painful, or lonely, our brain creates fantasy loops for mental survival. That person you think about at midnight, they may have become your fantasy escape. Not the real person, but a version of them that lives in your head, who loves you unconditionally, who understands you, who never left. You visit them like a safe place, because real life hurts too much. Psychologists call this maladaptive daydreaming, and at night it peaks, because there's no noise to distract you from your own imagined reality. Sign 8, chemical residue of intimacy. If you shared physical intimacy with this person, there's a chemical footprint left behind. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. These neurotransmitters rewire your brain to associate comfort, bonding, and euphoria with that person. And because the body has a rhythm, those memories often return cyclically, especially during sleep cycles. You're not imagining the connection. Your body literally remembers them, their touch, their voice, their presence. Midnight isn't a spiritual accident, it's a biological echo of closeness that still lives in your cells. Sign 9, you're spiritually unfinished. Some call it soul ties, others call it karmic debts. Even psychology admits that not all connections are explainable by logic. Sometimes a person returns to your mind every night because something soulful is unfinished. Maybe you never truly said goodbye. Maybe your bond had a spiritual contract to teach, to heal, to hurt, to evolve. Your repeated thoughts aren't an obsession. They're spiritual reminders of what's unlearned or incomplete. Healing doesn't always mean forgetting. Sometimes it means understanding why the universe sent that person and what lesson still lingers. Sign 10, you're lonely. But not just for people. Loneliness isn't always about company. It's about disconnection from yourself, your purpose, your peace. That person becomes a symbol of when you felt more alive, more whole. So when midnight makes you face your loneliness, your mind sends you their image like a comfort pill. But remember, you're not craving them. You're craving the version of yourself that once felt something powerful through them. Sign 11, mirror neurons and emotional rehearsal. Humans have something called mirror neurons, brain cells that make you feel what others feel. When you emotionally bonded with someone, your brain started rehearsing their pain, their joy, their thoughts. Even after separation, these neurons continue the emotional rehearsal. So you think of them when you're hurt, or when you're happy, or when you long for understanding. You became a part of their emotional algorithm. And at night, the algorithm activates again. It's not weakness, it's deep wiring. Your brain is simply rehearsing an emotional memory file that still has meaning. Sign 12, a deep part of you isn't ready to let go. The truth is, sometimes, no matter how much time passes, a part of you just doesn't want to move on. Letting go means accepting loss. It means accepting change. It means releasing the dream, and not everyone is ready for that. So at night, when there are no expectations, your soul secretly visits the memory garden of that person. You water it with your tears. You talk to it in your thoughts. You feel seen again, if only in imagination. It's not weakness. It's a part of the human condition. We all carry people in our shadows, especially the ones who help shape our light. And until your heart is ready to let go, that person will keep knocking at midnight. Not to haunt you, but to help you see what's still healing. So now you know, you're not broken. You're not obsessed. You're human. And being human means carrying love, pain, memories, and unfinished symphonies in your chest. If someone keeps returning to your thoughts at midnight, ask yourself not just why them, but what lesson are they bringing? It could be grief. It could be guilt. It could be love. Or maybe it's time for closure. Whatever the reason, remember, Healing begins not when they stop coming to mind, but when you stop running from the meaning behind it. Midnight may be quiet, but it is honest. And maybe, just maybe, that's when your soul is finally speaking. Are you listening?